Yo, what's up? Fricker. Yo, what's up? So I thought I would talk about comics and wrestling and film. I think I will start with comics in regards to what's called the Destiny Force. I have this theory that combines Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars meta plot with the original intention that the Destiny Force is basically the pinnacle of human evolution. It's many steps further from Captain America. And so when somebody gains the power of the Destiny Force, they're basically gaining evolutionary perfection. And they could gain reality warping powers on an enormous scale. They could essentially do anything or almost anything. They could cause all kinds of havoc with their power, and they have oh sorry they have like you see Rick Jones. When he used the Destiny Force, he essentially used it to summon Avengers from different timelines during the Kree Skull War. And after that, he gained, or should I say, he suppressed the power because he didn't know how to fully utilize it. So the Destiny Force has enormous ramifications and broad applications. You know, another thing is that I think with the Destiny Force, what happened was the circles of life and death, renewal of the Marvel Multiverse. There was a impression left on the souls of the humans in the new cycle, and the Destiny Force kept growing and growing and growing. And so what happened was, as it grew, it was getting to the point where it could cause major disturbances to the balance of the multiverse. And because of that, you had the one above all had to have his flunky do something. And then, for whatever reason, he chose the Celestials to create mutants. It's like, well, what will create mutants? They'll keep them in control. But then all these timeline mergers and whatnot kind of filleted that. It made it where it didn't happen. And instead, what you had was the mutants growing stronger to match that of the post-humans. And because they were becoming as strong as the post-humans, more examples had to be taken. Or I should say more direct action was needed. They had to create, for example, um, they had to create the um, apocalypse, and they had to create the death seeds and all that in order to micromanage mutants, because mutants were becoming too much of a problem. And with that micromanagement, they were able to, or they hoped they could control mutants better. But of course, just like with everything, the Marvel Universe is so chaotic. And as we've seen, that didn't work. Instead, it triggered the evolution of the Sentinels and robotics, to where mutants, seem to have this predetermined future where they'll be wiped out. So all this baggage was created because they were trying to keep the Destiny Force suppressed, because there was a concern by, the intelligence of the one above all, being the Celestials, and the other aspects, that they would disrupt the balance that it had created. Spinning out from one universe to multiple, and it needed some way to rectify that. And instead, it's just made a more complicated problem. They don't have any method at the moment to stop posthumans from eclipsing the safeguards, And knowing Hickman and the current writers, they'll probably be like, the thing with the mutants and stuff, and things that happened with the Avengers made the humans realize, they need to come up with something to curb not just mutants but posthumans. Basically creating a new, like, a movement to try and suppress the ongoing danger to just normal humans. We could see them where stories start coming out going, well, heck, we came up with a serum that'll strip Spider-Man of his powers permanently, make Captain America mortal, rob Reed Richards of his elasticity and enhanced intellect, et cetera, et cetera. And so the Destiny Force is really set off, a whole bunch of things, at least on an intuitive level for so many writers. They realize now they have something incredible to work with. And with it, they can do pretty much anything. They could roll right off of Hickman's stories right into maybe not Civil War, but Gene War, or some kind of story where they talk about how this all comes together, how, trying to stop the evolutionary perfection of humans from causing havoc, and it created more problems. And now, humans trying to get back into the top of the food train, come up with all these genetics and stuff to, remove powers. They come up with, more advanced technology than what we see with the Sentinels. Instead of happening to Sentinels, maybe they turn to cyborgs. And but yeah. I go to wrestling. I'm sorry, new to this, so nervous. Right now, wrestling is a very interesting time now. You got, AEW doing well last week, despite post WrestleMania and everything. I think it's interesting if if ADW can maintain their run, maintain their, because if their numbers go up steadily each week, that means they finally latched on to the fan base that they had to fight NXT over, and that's all gravy for them. They can expand more on their business. They can accomplish a lot of things that they want to do. They might open an overseas division like Emma Sakura suggested. And maybe training grounds or something if everything goes well. Because in theory, the sky's the limit for AEW and what they can accomplish. And people, with everything that's going on in the world now, people need that kind of entertainment. They need that. Where everybody's like, oh, where they're not really trying to be heel or face, they're just trying to entertain the fans. And that's something everybody can relate with, and it's amazing. It's really something you can be glued to. I know everybody's wondering, who's going to be the champions going into 2022. Some people might say, oh, well, I think Hikaru Shida will remain champion into 2022. Who knows? I mean, she is facing Tai Conte, and she said she would like to defend in live crowds again before she dropped the belt because she misses that energy. And, Kenny, seems to be on a hot streak. And, but I think Darby Allin, to be honest, I kind of feel that he's going to be in the world title picture sooner than later. I feel that he's going to be the one who, despite all the odds, despite all the shenanigans, will be the one who will beat Kenny Omega for the title. And I think will be a match that everybody will like, wow, I didn't think this would be that good. Two different styles. I mean, because a lot of praise goes on Kenny, but Darby is really something else. If it goes the way I think it will, that'll really put another, what's that, cap or feather in AEW's cap. They can go, hey, look at our new guy. He just became world champion and he's super over now. And our previous champion's still super over, And, we've just been building, and you guys have been making everything generic style, and you're not really letting the wrestlers be themselves. And we all that's what our problem is with WWE. It's become stale. It's become homogenized. We want something more of it, and Vince just isn't really interested. So, I definitely hope I'm right, because I think I don't think Darby's hit the peak of what kind of matches we can expect from him. I think we're going to see, some fantastic matches. I could potentially see Cody Rhodes going for the world title with Darby Allin, and he just had a banger with Kenny Omega. Yeah, sign me up. I want to do something with him with the world title. Not necessarily take it from him, but, I'd like to do a match with him for the title. And that would be great. Seeing Hangman Page, either get it off of him or at least come close to, because everybody wants Hangman Page to get it. They're building toward it. It's just a matter of when is the right time to pull that trigger, and that's total judgment call, but right now I'm 100% sure on Darby. As for Hikaru, she has so many great challengers, and she's faced them before, but that's the great thing about rematches is, I mean, she has a long history with Nyla Rose. They know each other so well. They've wrestled numerous times in Japan. Um, I can't remember, but she's wrestled Rio Mizunami numerous times in Japan, and they're good friends. Uh, Thunder Rosa, we've only had one match with him, and we all saw how close that was. Thunder almost took the title off her. That's how close it was. And I think when Thunder Rosa gets in that ring again, it's going to be it. This time she's going to cinch something in, and she's going to make Hikaru Shida tap. And I know people would like to see Britt Baker do it, but I kind of think Thunder will be the one that will take the title off of Hikaru. Have that sleeper hold or have a leg lock or something on her and make her tap, and then it'll be her and Britt Baker feuding. Because I don't see Tay Conti getting the belt yet. I think, that she will be, one of the big faces going into 2022. And, it depends on what Hikaru Shida wants to do when her championships run is over. Does she want to turn heel? And I've watched a lot of her matches. I don't know if she's ever done heel stuff before, so I don't know if it'd work or not. Be interesting. She probably could do it. Who knows? But that whole title picture, I definitely see a 2022. Hikaru might make it to at least maybe October or maybe January. But eventually, I think Thunder Rosa is going to get that belt. It's like Thunder Rosa said, I'm collecting belts. She's trying to do what Kenny Omega's doing. He's got 20 belts now. He's broken Muda and Ultimo Dragon's record, I think. So, she's out there going, I'm going to collect a lot of women's championships. I don't care where it is. And that's going to be great. As for the tag team, I think the Young Bucks are going to hold it at least until summer of 2022. That way they get a real good tag team that they've worked on to be good faces to take it off them. And then, they might take a break and then come back and do something different. That's what I think is going to happen. If I had to guess, I imagine, everybody's interested in Top Flight. Top Flight's very reminiscent of the Hardy Boys in some ways, just like the Bucks are. And I think if I had money to put down on who could possibly take the tag titles from, especially in a shocker type situation, I think it would be the Top Flight, because we know FTR will get the belts back eventually, but I don't think it'll be right away. And the TNT title, for some reason, I see them putting it on Shawn Spears to help build the Pinnacle brand in him. Try and get people to see what they see in him. So we could see him, pulling off either a one-sided beatdown on Darby or an upset or something, and he'd be the TNT champion. And then when you got MJF and FTR and you got Tully Blanchard, you basically got all these, great talkers, great workers, and great promos with him, that just elevates him if he gets that title off. Because then there's now we have officially staked our first claim. Now we're going to go after tag titles. We're going to go after the world title. Be like a Four Horsemen when they took all the belts. And they ran ramshot over everything. I think that's what's going to happen with the Pinnacle. It'll start with Shawn Spears. as for if they're going to do another women's eliminator tournament, I don't know. You know, part of it was because Rio Mizunami was available, you know, but at the same time, it depends on what they get out of it. You know, if they do a second one, whether next year or whatever, you know, like, you know, the one thing WWE has over them is WWE. They had an entire pay-per-view devoted to women, and AEW hasn't pulled the trigger on that. The women have always been on, you know, YouTube. You know, whenever they do something, sometimes they get elimination matches on Dynamite, but you know, there's a lot of pieces to juggle. You know, so it is understandable. But I mean, it'd be kind of something if AEW goes, you know, we're going to do a pay-per-view for the women. You know, we're going to try it out. We're going to try and show our incredible talent of women wrestlers out there. You know, we're going to have Sheeta and Thunder Rosa and Baker and the Bunny and all them out there that are, you know, active in wrestling right now, and matches, and you know, showcasing their skills in a pay-per-view. You know, because you know, I mean, from what I understand, a lot of the guys in the back support the women wrestlers, so it's not out of the possibilities. I don't know where WWE is going to go. I think right now they need a change. Vince, yeah, he made it into what it is now, but he's said that if I pull out, that's it for the WWE. There won't be a WWE anymore. I'll sell it piecemeal to other rich rich men who like wrestling, or you know, I'll just shutter it and keep it in a trust or something. You know, and as everyone knows, Hunter and Stephanie and the others would like him not to do that. They want to keep building on WWE's legacy. And if you ask AEW wrestlers, would they like WWE to go out of business? They would say no, because they know what happened when WCW went out of business. You know, it would affect their long-term goals if WWE went out of business. You know, so, and I think that's kind of helped AEW, that they're not trying to run WWE out of business. You know, they're just trying to push them and get that push back so they can keep elevating each other. Because even Omega said that he doesn't want WWE to go out of business, because then we might as well go out of business too, because, you know, eventually we won't have it. We need that synergy of competition to bring out the best in us. So apparently he knows he's talking about, you know, and that's pretty insightful. I don't know. I mean, the pandemic has definitely slowed things down a lot, but there's reports that once everybody's vaccinated, they're going to start rolling back the restrictions. You know, not on the mask right away, but like they're going to let people go into live events and stuff. You know, and that might change things for both AEW and WWE. You know, having that energy back, that the crowd cheering or booing them. You know, and it'll definitely be a release for people who've been wanting to attend live events but can't, because you know, they don't want to be home, you know, staring at their television or whatever. They want to be out there and cheering their favorite teams or their favorite wrestlers, whatever. So hopefully that ends up going the way they would like it to. Moving to film, I've seen some good films lately. One of them was News of the World, which had Tom Hanks, and It was a really good movie. Turns out I saw it before. I just forgot. You know, I didn't expect to be so good. We saw Babs and Tar. It was a comedy. I don't remember the full name of it. It was very funny, very good. Um, what else have we seen? Damn. I haven't seen the Snyder cut of Justice League. I want to see it bad, but they haven't released it on DVD yet. They've only got it out on HBO Max, and I'd like to see that. Trying to think. I mean, there really hasn't been much out that I've been interested in. Yeah, and I mean, I've been doing a lot of writing, and if I find something I'll read, I'll read, or if I find something to watch, I'll watch it. But I think in the long run, the pandemic's going to help the film and television industry in ways it already has. In some cases, the quality's gotten better. And I mean, you see Kung Fu, the new Kung Fu television series. It's been amazing. I didn't think it was going to do well. I thought it was going to buckle, and that wasn't because of the characters or the actors. I just felt, people are going to remember David Kane's Kung Fu, and they're going to mercilessly compare it. And then, but they came in with their Kung Fu, and it's like, well, ours has nothing to do with David Kane's version. This is actual Chinese mythology. This is actual, Chinese Americans adjusting in life and stuff. And Nikki just happens to be a prodigy in Kung Fu. And it's been great that they haven't been trying to connect it to the old show or try and, do any of that stuff. It's just a really concerned woman who knows what it's like to be put down, who knows what it's like to be a victim of hatred and bigotry and sexism, And with the skills she's learned, she's trying to do the right thing for everyone. Whatever she can that's possible. Another show has been Walker. I didn't know if Jared Palanke was going to pull it off, but he did. It's been getting better episode by episode. So they've clearly put a lot of work into it, And I think that's great that they managed to pull it off. Hearing that it's going to have a second season, and then they're going to figure out if they're going to do a third and fourth. That's all gravy. I mean, Supernatural, that was a great show for a long time. It had ups and downs, but it was a great legacy show. And I'm glad that they, both Jensen and Jared can move on to greener pastures and do some exploring, like when they couldn't before because they had their obligations of Supernatural. And Superman and Lois, I didn't know. Originally I didn't think it was going to be good because I knew Tyler Hoechlin could do a great job as Clark and Superman, but I saw the classic suit, like from Action Comics 1 or whatever it was. I was like, there's no way this is going to work. And then I saw the first episode. I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a trial run. Second episode was better. Third, even better. Fourth, the cliffhanger until they return in May. And it's just been really, really good. It's almost Zack Snyder Superman level. And I've enjoyed the hell out of that. I'm hoping that it comes back with the same smash ratings it came in with. And I do admit I'm sad Supergirl's gone. But, without with Crisis have come and gone, with the Arrow character gone, and with Superman and Lois kind of saying its own universe, and Stargirl saying its own universe, the Arrowverse doesn't really have anything to connect with. I mean, Supergirl, even though she's on the same Earth as the Flash, you notice she hasn't really made any appearances. And we know that in Superman and Lois, Melissa Benoist won't be showing up on it. That they would introduce a new Supergirl. And that's all we've heard so far. And Flash, eighth season, Grant Gustin will probably say, well, it's been a fun run. 8 seasons. I'm ready to move on. And that leaves the question of where they go with the CW verse. And I think what'll happen is Flash will just be a legacy show like Arrow and Supergirl, and Legends will go away. And I know Batwoman's going away because they tried to fix it and they can't. I think they're going to replace it with a show called Dark Knight, and it'll just be Batman. They're introducing Batman with a clean slate like they did with Lois and Clark, or Superman and Lois, sorry. And I think that's going to be fantastic. It'll be great. Because, fans want to see Batman on television. We've never seen a live-action Batman television. There hasn't been one since the Depression era. And that is something that I think will be amazing to see. If I'm right in the Dark Knight, they come out with it. So it's all a lot of wait and see. Especially with AEW, WWE, and everything else. And I know I probably put whoever's watching this asleep. Sorry, I'm a nervous talker, so I'm not very charismatic like Shawn Michaels or whatever. But I hope you got maybe some form of enjoyment on it, and that you have a great rest of your day. And I appreciate you for sticking in for this almost 30 minutes of me talking. So have a great day, and maybe I'll see you in another live stream down the road. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.